We are here at the International Fastener Expo, and I'm with
Mike Topoleski, BTM Manufacturing Company.
And this is Mike's first time here. Tell us how it's going.
Well, it's been a good morning so far. We've met with quite a few people, and we're excited to see what today and tomorrow brings.
Mike, give me 3 words that you would describe the new venue that we're here, since this is your first eyes on this.
Well, 3 words. It's different, certainly. The layout is different, and it's a little too early to say exactly, but we're interested to see how it goes, and I understand that it's changing next year, so we'll take that into.
I'm talking with
Nick Penny
from
Vogelsang Fastener Solutions.
And Nick was at the show last year, and he's at the expo this year. So tell me what the difference is.
The difference in the location, actually, I think we have a reduced crowd this year versus where we were. However, the people that came here were very high qualified leads, and the conversations were as good or better than last year.
And I would agree with you on that. We didn't have the volume, but what we got was choice on our leads there.
So, yes, it's a very successful show for us, and we'll definitely be doing another one.
Gary Graham.
And Lisa Dake from National Threaded Fasteners.
All right, so where were you two last night?
We were over at the
welcome reception.
Tell me about it.
Actually, I thought it was a beautiful place, and there was lots of people, lots of different things to do. They had a cigar rolling, they had a whiskey.
And did you try either one? Did you get a cigar or did you try a shot of whiskey?
No, I didn't try either one, but I watched a bunch of people get that, and they all seemed to enjoy their cigars, and like I said, everybody looked like they were having a really good time.
Okay. What did you think? Did you think we had enough food and bartenders?
Food looked amazing. There was tables set up all over. It wasn't just in one spot. They had them in the front. They had them in the back. They had nice cabanas set up that you could sit in there and relax as well. And I think I saw at least 4 or 5 places where you could get a drink as well.
I am here at the award ceremony, and I'm with
Cameron Dorsey with Beacon Fasteners.
Melissa Patel from Field.
Baron with Springbolt.
All right, everybody. You've stayed for the awards. You heard all the speeches. What's your take back?
Great event. Well-deserved candidates, both Bill and Adam. Great guys. Great for this industry. Just inspirational guys.
I would echo those comments. I think they're both visionaries and really have pushed their companies to where they are today.
Both of their speeches brought tears to my eyes. It was so good.
Oh, that's true. Now, the goals that Bill talked about, writing them down, and balance of work-life and active listening. So tell me, which one hit you the most?
I believe in active listening. I'm on the sales side, so hearing what your customers want, listening to what they want, will always make you successful, and that's whether in business or in life.
Well, I have the pleasure with working with Bill every day. So all of those things he noted are part of our fundamentals we have. So we go over them weekly.
Fundamentals, I like that.
I like that,
yeah.
too.
Jake Glazer of Sheerex Fastening Solutions.
Okay, and Jake happens to be a young professional. So from our 2 awards given out today, what did you learn today?
I mostly learned that the amount of tribal knowledge that exists in our industry is vast and eminent, and active listening, being an active participant and actively pursuing and trying to learn from the people that have come before us, have done this, have figured these things out, is going to be imperative to my success going forward.
All right, I'm here with Jay and Harriet Mont, and they're here at our booth at the IFE, and we've been here all day, and we haven't been out on the show, so tell us, how's the show?
I haven't been here in like 5 years, but it seems like a good show, and my legs are starting to bother me. I'm walking in, trying to cover the whole thing in one day. And the nice part for me is I get to see a lot of people I do business with all year, whether I sell them or I buy from them. And I'm like the old-timer in the business, most likely the oldest in the business that's active on a daily basis. So it's nice to see faces I haven't seen in 20 or 30 years maybe.
So is there anything that you learned today about fasteners that you didn't know about?
That's a good question. When you're around as long as me,
it's hard.
You've seen it all already, except the machinery, of course, is all, new. And there's a lot of somebody always has a new gimmick and does something a little different, and you haven't seen it, and let's see if they make a go of it. I don't know.
Okay.
But you learn people that have specialties, make 10 bolts or 20 bolts, and it's good to know when you can find it.
Right.
In other words, if you don't find it on Fastener Clearinghouse, you'll find another place to go, maybe.
Right there you go. Our good friends, the Motts. Thank you.
John Gaudette and Rich Cavoto
from Metric and Multi-Standard. And all right, here's my big question on the second day of the expo. If you were an emoji, if you're going to send an emoji out, which emoji would you be?
Sleepy face. I would be a happy face.
And why are you happy?
Because the show is almost over.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you buy, sell, manufacture, import, distribute, or otherwise fetish fasteners, this is the podcast for you. We're so glad you joined in, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Eric Dudas here. I'm joined, as always, by Jumbo Fastenertron operator and overall great guy, Brian Musgrave. Brian, good to have you with us again.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure which part of the fetish is that we need to appeal to, okay?
In the most benign way only.
Right. Okay, yeah. Right, yes, I've come from 3 days of trying to work out where the mouse gets lost to on the screen and back to a much more controlled environment.
Well, you did an outstanding job, and if you're wondering what Brian's talking about, everyone, he was doing the demos at our booth at the recent International Fastener Expo, and at the top of the podcast today, you were listening to interviews from that show floor, done by the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey, as always. We'll have more of those as the show unfolds, but you got the general flavor. And, Bri, I don't know how many demos you did, but hopefully you only lost the mouse on a couple of them.
No, you're right. But when I lost it, it was lost very deeply. A little disturbing. You're trying to do a demo and you can't even find the mouse on the screen. They sort of wonder just how experienced you really are.
The Fastenertron is not your everyday monitor, is it?
No, it's not.
And this isn't your everyday podcast, folks, because it's all about industrial fasteners. Once again, you probably knew that if you're listening, and we're so glad that you're out there. This is episode 121. We're publishing a little late, sorry, but this is on or about October 30th, 2017, and we've got an excellent lineup for you. We're going wall to wall with the IFE show, with a variety of headlines thrown in. Our feature segment on the podcast today is our annual Fastener Show Roundup. This time we'll be joined by Jake Davis of BTM Manufacturing and Baron Yarborough. He's with Spring Nut and Bolt from Houston, Texas. Kicking things off at the top of the show, we'll be joined by Lindstrom Toronto manager Bill Akerfeldt. In addition to touching on what happened at the show, Bill will be giving us a little bit of insight into recent pricing concerns. He definitely has some ideas that we hadn't thought of before. On the Fastener News Report, Mike McNulty is joined by Würth Executive Vice President Marc Strandquist. They'll talk about the still flying high Fastener Distributor Index numbers, and then Mike will have all the headlines for us. Plus, Carmen Vertullo returns with another Fastener Training Minute. I'll tell you, Brian, this one could have actually been termed the Fastener Training Seminar because spilled over a little bit, but I think it's worth the time, especially if you're anybody who deals with anything that's galvanized.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, we have people who hang on Carmen's little Fastener Training Minutes. That'll be good for them.
He's developed his own fan club as a result of the Fastener Training Minute.
Yeah, it's that.
We saw many of our sponsors at the show, Bri. Why don't you remind everyone who exactly they are?
Yes. Well, I do know who they are, and we're very lucky. to have such great sponsors. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stellfast and the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners. Stellfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. And the Lindstrom family of companies, Lindstrom, by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are 3Q USA-made fasteners, Buckeye Fasteners, InSequel Software, the Würth Group of Companies, ND Industries, Mack Brooks Fastener Fair USA, Fastenal, Fault Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. So thank you to all of these great companies, some of which I managed to catch up with at the show, but we look forward to our long and very good relationship.
Yes, it was great to see many of you out there. And, of course, the way the shows go, you don't get a chance to shake everyone's hand. But we hope you know that we appreciate you. And everybody out in the audience, if you do get a chance to talk with any of these sponsors, please let them know that you've heard their support for the Fully Threaded Radio podcast and thank them.
Yes, that's right.
As mentioned, we're going to go wall-to-wall with the Fastener Show today. And if fasteners are your life, we'll talk about that later in the show.
Yeah.
There's one piece of news that we'd like to put right up on top. There was an awards ceremony on Wednesday afternoon, the big day of the show. And, of course, Emerald Expositions was generous enough to give us a small slot leading the whole thing off, which was great. And that was to announce the winner of our annual FCH Fastener Training Institute Scholarship Award. Many of you were participants of that, I think, because we had just a ton of really great entries this year, Bri.
Yep, I know. And I'm very pleased that there are some people who still actually do know how to write very good English, okay?
And in the fastener industry, too, so it was nice to see. I agree.
Yeah.
The big winner for this year's scholarship, and he's going to receive full ride scholarship to the Fastener Training Week, hopefully go on to attain his Certified Fastener Specialist designation. It's Michael Shibasaki of Fuller Metric. Congratulations, Michael.
Yep, right.
Now, during the ceremony, if you were there, folks, you knew this, but it was Hans Fuller. He's the president of Fuller Metric, and he accepted the award on behalf of Michael, and it was just a great thing to be a part of. There were also 4 runners-up that received pretty nice awards as well. Joe Morris from the Fastener Training Institute was there to help us with this announcement, but I'll just mention the runners-up here in no particular order. Pedro Lazaro of BBI, John Butler of the Olander Company, John Coolhand Butler, Rob Bly of Fastener Force One Resources, and Zach Christie of Components for Industry. They were our 4 runners-up for the 2017 FCH Fastener Training Institute Scholarship Program. And once again, everyone, if you did not make that list, really, you got nothing to feel bad about, because I'm telling you, the quality of the entries this year was really exceptional.
Right, it was a very tight race, okay.
And with that, we'll get the show rolling and be right back to put a wrench to this one. It's Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio. It's Fastener Dog-Approved Talk Radio for the fastener industry.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Why do distributors turn to Lindstrom? Because we're committed to being the source for everything distributors need, including packaging and manufacturing. If you need less than bulk, packaged product off the shelf, or custom packaging, Lindstrom has it all. Ask about kits, assortments, and our new VMI bin pack program. Whether you need special lengths or thread pitch, altered parts, studs, or manufactured parts, inch or metric, large parts or small, Lindstrom has you covered. We also manufacture special washers in addition to sockets, bolts, and nuts. Need a prototype part? Call Lindstrom. As the leading specialty fastener master distributor, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice. To be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit lindstromfastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Fastener Distributors. 3Q Inc. is the best kept secret for all of your fastener needs. 3Q is the premier sourcing solution for the fastener distribution market. 3Q offers stock and release programs on all special fastener products, from flat washers, lock nuts, cold form specials, to bolts and screws. Looking to add the highest quality line of self-drilling screws? Check out the pull-tight line of serrated self-drilling screws. They bite. Distributors who know of 3Q wonder how they ever operated before without the high level of service and quality support provided by 3Q and their staff. The number 3, the letter Q. 3Q Inc. Quality products, quality service, quality customers. Welcome to 3Q.
Hi, this is Mark Klosik with Vertex Distribution. I am here at the Fastener Show in Chicago, and I listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
All right, we're on the second day of the IFE, and I'm here with
Jennifer Serrano, Marketing Director for Lone Star Group.
All right, here we go, Jennifer. Give me 3 words that describe the expo.
I would have to say innovative, exciting, and the last one's a hyphen. I'd say a good networking opportunity.
So have you had network opportunities here?
We have, yes. We see a lot of our customers really face-to-face here at the show, the only time throughout the year where we get to connect with some of our customers.
So if I asked you if you were an emoji, what would your emoji be?
Probably the happiest face with the big smile showing all the teeth.
Okay.
Pete Floodquist from Bokers Incorporated.
Andy Scholl with Bokers Incorporated.
All right, gents, we're here early morning, so it looks like you didn't have a wild time out last night like me, right?
Nope.
Took it pretty easy last night.
Tell me what you liked about this new venue.
It's very open, and it's easier to get a lot of people, to talk to a lot of people. There's not a lot of big crowds.
Yeah, it is more spacious. It's very nice, easy to get to. Cabs can drop us right off by the doors, so we don't have far to walk. I hear it's going to be in Mandalay Bay next year, it has been there before. That's also a very nice venue.
Scott Bernstein from Beta Steel.
And Eric is always telling me to go out and talk to the steel guys to ask you, how's steel doing? How's the steel industry?
The industry's good. We at Beta Steel, we specialize in primarily cold heading quality fasteners, cold heading quality wire, which makes primarily automotive fasteners. And the automobile industry is strong in Detroit. There'll be close to 17 million units sold this year, so that's going well. The Chicago market is primarily into the industrial distribution base, and those guys are busy as well. So as far as beta goes and cold heading quality wire rods, our shipments are strong. We're up over 17 is up over 16. We see 18 being a strong shipping year as well. There are some pricing pressures that we're trying to work through in the fourth quarter, and I'm not sure how the pricing is going to work out for the first quarter, but the shipments we think will remain strong.
All right, I am here on the second day of the IFE, and I'm with
Jamie Corneville with Fasteners Direct in upstate New York.
And I understand you won the Wi-Fi scholarship. Tell me what that's about.
Yep, I was honored this year by being chosen for the scholarship winner for Wi-Fi. My small company in upstate New York was unable to financially send anybody here to the show in Vegas, but Wi-Fi was very generous and able to send me here. My airfare, my hotel, it opens me up to so many more networks, so much education that they've been able to give me. It truly would not have been possible for me to come here without Wi-Fi.
And how many years in the fastener industry?
3 years, yes. Yep. I started off as a finance assistant and recently been promoted to VP of Finance and Vendor Management. I previously was in a railroad industry where my mom was VP, who wasn't able to become president because she is a woman. So in order for me to succeed in life in the fastener industry, Wi-Fi has drastically opened up so many doors for me.
So tell me your impressions of the show, since this is your first show.
Oh, it's amazing. There's so many networking opportunities. There's so many brilliant people that you can learn so many things from. It's fabulous. It's absolutely wonderful.
And aren't you always amazed at how many fasteners there are in the world?
Absolutely. There are many things here that I didn't even know were possible, and it's opened up my eyes to so many things that I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. It's wonderful. Truly, truly wonderful.
Cameron Dorsey, Beacon Fasteners and Components.
And the reason why I'm over here is because I'm over in the 200 aisle, and he's in 1300, and all we keep hearing about is this added value you brought to the IFE. You want to explain that?
Well, we decided to provide our customers with a little bit of liquid breakfast in the form of some very tasty Bloody Marys.
And I'll tell you, your customers really like them.
Well, not only does it taste good, it's kind of nutritious with the tomato juice, and a little bit of vodka doesn't do any harm to anybody.
Yes. Tell me, whose idea was this?
Oh, from our fearless leader, Bob Wagner, the owner and president of Beacon Fasteners. He has a lot of great ideas, and a lot of them seem to involve alcohol.
Okay. This is Lynn, and I'm at the International Fastener Expo, and I'm talking with
Rick Finau from Autobolt.
And Rick's going to tell us how he loves listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
I do indeed love listening to Fully Threaded Radio. A big shout out to Eric and Brian for a fine service they do for the industry. It was interesting to hear from my lovely mother of 82 years old that she loves Brian's accent, so to which I say, what's not to love, Mom?
Yeah. All right. I am here with
Chris Vitek of Alloy St. Louis Fasteners. So it's been going real good this morning. We had a lot of activity, a lot of potential sales all morning. This evening slowed down a little bit, but overall it's been a real good show. We haven't been back here in probably about 10 years, but I feel that we're going to be back next year, and I think it's been a real good show.
Okay, I'm here at the IFE, and I am talking with
Deborah Douglas.
And Deb used to be one of the exhibitors, and I always saw her here, and now you've got some very good news.
I'm actually officially retired.
So how's that going? How's it feel to be on this side and not in the booth being stressed out?
Well, it's certainly different being on this side, walking around, but my real reason for being here is to say goodbye to many, many of the people that have influenced my life and my career in the industry. It's been 38 years. It's been an awesome industry to be in. I'm very proud of the women in the industry, and I'm very proud of the people I've gotten to know and that have supported me in my life's career, and I appreciate them and I thank them very much.
Oh, that's great. So come back and visit.
Maybe for a visit, but I'm off to retirement to enjoy my grandchildren and just enjoy life.
Well, happy retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much.
And there you have it, folks. Some more sounds of the 2017 Fastener Show, now known as IFE.
IFE. You're right.
Brian and Eric back with you on Fully Threaded.
So this is Lynn, our wandering recording artist, wandering around catching people in booths, and it was not by happenstance. She had made notes of who she was going to talk to.
I tell you, she keeps getting better.
Actually, I'm glad that Deb Douglas was there and stopped by, because she came by the booth and sort of said, no, let's do some searches. I mean, she knows her areas very, very well, clearly, and pointed out that we didn't really cover the drilling industry very well. She said, no, you don't really have the right thread pitch for the drilling industry. They use 8 threads an inch or something like that. And I was sort of a little dismayed, because the searches she did, showed none or very, very few, results. So she was right. We have to expand ourselves a bit.
So hang on. Are you saying there wasn't any inventory in the system, or just that our interface doesn't find them correctly?
No, I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying that people who supply to the drilling industry are not listing stuff with us. We, just didn't have these special thread, diameters and pitches that she said would be normal.
Well, Deb Douglas was very well connected out there across many parts of the industry, and I know it was a poignant moment for her when she recorded with Lynn. Of course, folks, we're talking about Deb Douglas, who was featured on the last of that montage we just heard. And she was announcing her retirement, or actually it had been announced, but she was on the show floor to say so long to everybody, and Lynn caught her, and actually at one point I think they did shed a few tears.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. At the booth.
In a good way, though. Now, when you were talking to Deb, did you lose the mouse on the Fastenertron at all, or did that one go okay?
No, that was okay. That wasn't the problem. The problem was we didn't have the inventory for what she was searching for. I would have liked to use another excuse like I lost the mouse, but it wasn't to be.
Right. One other thing about the audio montages that we record, don't feel sorry if we weren't able to use a particular thing that Lynn recorded with you. In some cases, we have a problem with the audio. In other cases, there's just not enough space to get it all in, and there were a few that we weren't able to play, but we try to get to as many as we can. More on the topic of the Fastener Show, if you want to absorb a little bit more from a little different perspective, be sure to take a look at the Fastener blog at fastenerblog.net. Traveling salesman gets a little quiet sometimes, but he always pushes out some excellent perspectives around showtime. So get out there and check out his review, and also you can bet that Emerald Expositions will be reading all the comments out there that people make, because he's fishing for ways that they can improve the show, and I think Emerald's going out of their way to try to incorporate as many of those as possible, Bri.
Yep, I think so too.
It's fastenerblog.net. We were featuring at our booth our new, the whole FCH sourcing network, because that's our main gig, as most of you know, folks. It's fastenersclearinghouse.com. We have a program that's targeting our member companies, in other words, those that list inventory with us. And we've got a new program that seems to be catching a lot of interest. It's called the Preferred Search Result Placement Program. And essentially what that does is it places your company at the top of the list with all kinds of wall-to-wall advertising. You look like you own the commodity, which is...
In fact, you do.
Yeah. And a lot of people seem to want that. And so we are now able to offer that, and we did, and got a lot of interest. So there are still a lot of prime commodities that are available. We're just getting the ball really rolling with the marketing on it. And this was our flagship. And just in general, Brian, did you have some fun showing that off?
I did.
If you're interested in receiving a PDF version of our marketing material on this, folks, I'll be happy to send it out to you. Shoot me an email at eric@fastenersclearinghouse.com. I'll get it to you so you can get your prime commodities while they're still available. I think people are going to be locking these up, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when someone says searching for, I don't know, self-drilling screw or something like that, you can own that so that, the listings that you have come at the very top of the set of search results in a separate panel. And, if you don't happen to have any of that particular size, it'll still come up just your company name and what you specialise in at the top. So it looks pretty good. And, it's aimed at people who have, say, specific lines that they're trying to move rather than, a whole range of every fastener in the world.
Which, let's face it, is most distributors. I mean, most people have a specialty unless you're a master. Well, even the masters do, but you get the point. FastenersClearinghouse.com, folks. Again, shoot me an email at eric@FastenersClearinghouse.com. If you'd like me to send you some marketing material, that'll be available out on the website and in a little bit more easily accessible way shortly, but be happy to do it for you. Thanks for using the network, everyone, and for visiting our booth. Bri, you mentioned Lindstrom. Of course, we were next to the big green machine at the Vegas show this year. And while we were there, we talked to a lot of folks, face it, on the Lindstrom team. Bill Akerfeldt is the manager of their Toronto location, which is actually up there in Mississauga.
Right, which is just out of Toronto.
Mm-hmm. And we recorded a segment with him. We can play that now.
One of these chance meetings from the Fastener Show, this was.
As our coverage of the 2017 Fastener Show rolls along. We got Bill Akerfeldt with us. He's the GM up there in Toronto for Lindstrom, our good friends. Hey, Bill, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Before we start, I should give a slight intro as to how we met Bill, actually.
Yeah, it was good to meet
you. Because we arrived at the luxurious Westgate Hotel, full of excitement, I have to say, thinking that I really wanted to stay at this other hotel that I mistakenly reviewed, and found that the queue or line of people trying to check in was about 600 yards long and curled backwards and forwards like 5 snakes together. And we sort of thought, holy shit, we're going to be here for the next 5 hours just trying to check in. And in all our hours of waiting, there was this guy in front of us, and we said, shit, we know that logo, that's Lindstrom. And so we got talking to this Bill, who is the man we're talking to now.
And here you are. Amazing.
I guess it was fate, maybe.
Yeah.
What
did you make of the show overall?
I thought it was actually good. The people by the booth, it was good quality. Met some new people. Got to shake hands with a lot of people you deal with on the phone on a regular basis. So it's nice to, have that FaceTime and actually, talk and hopefully build business. And, everything I took away from it points in that direction that, I think we're going to do well over the next year. So I thought it was good.
Right on.
So you should tell us what you do for Lindstrom. People only know you by your name so far.
Well, I'm the general manager of Lindstrom Fastener Canada. So, like Lindstrom in the U.S., we sell through distributors across the country. I got a great team here in Mississauga, which is a suburb of Toronto. And customer service is key, and that's, what we do all across Lindstrom. Everyone here does their best to get the customer what they need and when they need it. It's a competitive business, that's for sure. So you got to be on your A game all the time.
Yeah. So do you cover, all of Canada? Do people in British Columbia buy from you in Ontario, or do they get, is the transport too expensive?
Basically, the way it works is we are the main contact for all Canadian customers. So depending basically on the urgency of what they need, if we don't have it stock in our location here, we transfer weekly from U.S. warehouses to our Toronto warehouse. But if they need it faster than that, we have the luxury of being able to ship out of any warehouse in the U.S. And with different courier services and truck lines,
yeah,
we could next day air it if we have to. So, it's definitely customer driven. But yes, every customer in Canada, we are their main point of contact to get them what they need.
Okay.
Brian mentioned that we were standing there in line at the fabulous Westgate Hotel in Vegas. So while we were there, we were talking about the pricing issues that have been fluttering around the industry, and you seem to have some insight in that could add to things that we've discussed previously on the podcast. Where are we at right now with the price increases? And, what was really the reason? What was the cause of all that?
Well, to my knowledge, the cause was basically environmental issues in China, where the government is cracking down on pollution control. And it was basically a blanket closure of a lot of factories doing heat treating and plating and that sort of stuff. So, kudos to them to actually, want to look after the environment. But the all of a sudden factor for, I guess, everyone of it happening, production delays are huge, especially when, then you have to worry about getting it across the ocean and, spread out all over the place. So with those guys shutting down, you got to find a plan B or a plan C and an alternate source, and can we wait and that sort of stuff. So, that was basically the basic issue and the start of it.
So did the prices start to increase? Did you have other, I suppose the question really goes to Lindstrom rather than you particularly, but if you suddenly find that your whole supplies in China are shut down, what luxury do you have of suddenly looking at other places of the world?
We have, lots of sources across the world for sure. The problem is, if you go from China to Taiwan, there's a definite increase in price there. And it's not just us who start looking at the plan B. There's, a bunch of other guys out there doing the same thing. So now you run into supply and demand. They automatically over there can decide, hey, wait a minute, we're too busy, we can't do this. So
yeah, those pesky market forces.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Bloody things.
It's like gravity. you can't get away from it, man.
No, exactly. But it's not like it just happened to us.
Yeah.
So, that's a good thing as well. It's not, like we just decided, hey, we're going to raise our prices. It becomes an industry-wide factor. So it becomes a communication thing after that, in my opinion.
So to what extent has this situation stabilized then? Maybe the prices are still going to keep going up, but the supply at least is sort of sorted out. Is that true or false?
Well, yeah, Brian, and I have to say it this way. That's my question too. But also, are the price increases permanent? Why would they be permanent if everything stabilizes?
To be honest with you guys, I have the luxury of having the team in the U.S. who worry about that. Lindstrom has such a great inventory across the board that that is sort of key. If you have the stock, you can continue to do the sales. If you don't have the stock, you can't sell anything.
Yep.
So, as far as has it stabilized? Is it going to go back down? Is it going to continue to go up? I would have to defer that to the guys in the U.S. because, they're much better at looking after that than I am.
Okay, I can live with that.
Good, I'm glad, because that's all you're going to get.
I heard a lot of that shit in Vegas, so
see,
I'm used to it.
You've got that attitude from the check-in people at the hotel, I know. So you wouldn't have said that when we first met you.
Sure, I would have.
Okay.
So getting back to the show then, what was the best part of it for you?
I probably have two answers. Flying home. But before that, it's always great to like I say, see our team. For one, a lot of those guys I only get to see maybe once or twice a year, so that's good. But meeting those customers and finding new business, that is the best part of it for me. And I like chatting and shooting the shit, so it's good to see those guys, hear the feedback. How can I improve? How can we improve? What are we doing that's great already? Those are the good things to hear. So that's what I like about it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's Vegas, and that's the reason that we all go out there, and we were so glad to meet you when we were out there, Bill.
I just wish that they would actually, those moving sidewalks they put in at airports, I wouldn't mind one of those from the hotel to the convention center.
Wow.
I'm not much of a marathon guy, but...
Well, you better start practicing, because let me tell you, the walk to get to the convention in Mandalay Bay is about 5 times longer, okay? And it's over really hard, bumpy, fake tiles.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Well, something to look forward to, I guess, then.
We're speaking with Bill Akerfeldt. He's the GM of the Toronto division of Lindstrom. Good friends of the podcast. It's been great talking with you, Bill, and it was so great to meet you out there in Vegas. And, hey, hopefully you'll join us again.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
That's all right. We had fun. We'll see you in the next check-in line, okay?
10-4.
When people think Fastener Talk Radio, they think, huh. But then they think of fully threaded radio. Talk radio for the fastener industry.
What's the real value of Lindstrom? You probably know us as a leading specialty fastener master distributor. But what really sets us apart is a commitment to providing added value for the distributors we serve. Over the years, we've developed a solid foundation of value-added specialties, including hard-to-find products, expertise in secondary processes, in-house manufacturing, technical services, and unique inventory management programs. As we continue to expand, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice, to be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit LindstromFastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
Hey, Sport, you don't look so good.
Man, all this walking at the Fastener Show is wearing me out. I don't know if I can keep going.
I think I have just a thing to help you out, son. Have you ever heard of Old Rusty Bolt beer?
No, what is it?
Why, it's only the tastiest, most refreshing, ice-coldest beer around. The amber goodness of Old Rusty Bolt beer is enough to jumpstart any weary fastener salesman.
I'll try one. Wow, I feel better already. Hey, mister, what's that name again?
Old Rusty Bolt beer, brought to you by the fine folks at Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company.
Old Rusty Bolt, that's the name, that name again, Old Rusty Bolt.
Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
You will meet over 2,000 fastener professionals from key manufacturing industries when you attend Fastener Fair USA, North America's only show for the entire fastener supply chain, taking place April 11th and 12th, 2018 in Cleveland, Ohio. Fastener Fair USA attracts manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, and end users from North America's fastest growing industries, such as automotive, aerospace, construction, equipment manufacturers, and many more. More than 200 companies from around the world will exhibit at Fastener Fair USA 2018, showcasing the latest in industrial and construction fasteners, assembly and installation systems, manufacturing technology, and much more. Take advantage of the opportunity to grow your business with our high-level education and training taught by industry experts, including the Fastener Training Institute, who will be participating in the inaugural show, offering product and technical training. Connect with customers and peers on the show floor and after hours at our welcome reception on April 11th at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There is truly something for everyone who's part of the fastener supply chain at Fastener Fair USA. To request information on exhibiting or visiting Fastener Fair USA, go to fastenerfair.com/USA or call show management at 866-899-4728. We'll see you at Fastener Fair USA 2018 in the heart of America's manufacturing region, April 11th and 12th at Huntington Convention Center, Cleveland, Ohio.
I know my customers' yearly usage, but I don't have the warehouse space to store it.
Solution Man can. Submit a blanket order and I'll not only set up release dates, I'll offer you bulk pricing too. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionInd.com.
You're my fastener superhero.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
This is Russ Dorn with Timberline Fasteners. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, back with you. Fully Threaded
Radio.
That's us.
Yes.
Hey, Brian, I meant to ask you, anybody coming up to the booth, did they mention the FDI?
Some did, but I have to say that in general people have never heard of it, okay? Mind you, lots of people have never heard of Fasteners Clearinghouse either, though there were people who actually recognised us from our podcast who walked past.
Wow, you really know how to make a marketing guy feel great, Bri.
Well, this is the way of life, okay? However, I did have a chance to sell the FDI and the whole concept of it to a number of people who were sort of hadn't really had any idea that such a thing existed.
Well, I'm glad you did. It's funny to me that you would choose our podcast to say something like that, but people respect you for your candor.
I did have people who did walk up to me to talk about the FDI. Okay.
Oh, there was one or two. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to mention to everybody that last month when we were sending out the surveys, it was me, we forgot a little bit, so we were a little bit late. And then this month we just sent the surveys out again. So if you're a survey respondent, my apologies. I promise that we'll be back on a regular schedule as of this month. I think that's the first time I've ever been late, Bri.
Okay. Well, we can accept one. And if you are a respondent and you think of another company as a friend of yours or some company you know well of that you think should be, let them know, and we'd like to include them.
The Fastener News Report's coming up in mere moments, everyone. As usual, we have just one or two headlines here that I don't believe made it onto Mike McNulty's report, which, as usual, is being sponsored by Volt Industrial Plastics. One of the big pieces of news from the Vegas show floor, the 2017 Stelfast monkey color was purple.
Jack likes the purple color.
And this year, some of you may remember, we announced that Stelfast was actually having a contest among all of their branch locations to see who would be able to propose the color that was ultimately selected. And I actually don't know what the selection process was, Bri, but the winner of that contest was the Seattle location, so we'd like to tip our hats to them because I think the purple looked quite nice.
So, purple, Seattle, yeah, I guess it's their colors in a way.
If you were at the show, everyone, I'm sure you saw several of those monkeys walking around as you always do. If not, we tweeted it out on the first morning of the show. Get out to our Twitter account, have a look.
Well, if you'd been walking past our booth, you would have seen one sitting up there too.
Oh, he's got the Stelfast monkey hanging out at the FCH booth. Another piece of news that I think was late breaking, at least I didn't hear about it until just recently. Wi-Fi, women in the fastener industry, they had several awards that they distributed, but I think probably the most prestigious was announced. This year's Woman of the Year award went to Pam Berry of Advanced Components.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations to you, Pam.
Yep.
Saw that one out on globalfastenernews.com. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and Lindstrom. And the Fastener News Report is hosted, of course, by the man probably most focused of anyone on fastener news in the industry. Wouldn't you say, Bri?
I think so. Now, yes, and it had some moments in the past when he got disturbed by football scores, okay?
Yes, as he will explain during the introduction of today's report.
Well, his team's playing in London, isn't it? Or played.
If you want to call it that. Oh, what a disaster. But this news report will not be. Now with extreme focus, here he is, everyone, Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. So the Cleveland Indians only lasted 5 games in the MLB playoffs. The Cleveland Browns are the only winless team in the NFL, and the 3-ring circus of our federal government, the mainstream media, and the entertainment industry is only nonstop drama and histrionics, but I am still focused on fasteners and ready to deliver the Fastener News Report. In this episode, we're going to reveal the latest results of the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have our top story on Dyson Corporation and newsmaker headlines from Lawson Products, Wind Supply, MW Industries, the Lisi Group, Park, Ohio, Swiss Turn USA, Penn Engineering, Arconic, Fastener Fair Mexico, and the International Fastener Expo. On the back page report, we're going to talk about plastic fasteners. We will get to all of that and the latest FDI results right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution Man can. Provide me with a print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the distributive social, huh?
Mike McNulty.
In September, the FDI slipped slightly, but remained very strong, coming in at 61.5 versus 62.7 in August. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by the FCH Sourcing Network, the National Fastener Distributors Association, and Baird. The FDI seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get some insights on these results, we talked to Marc Strandquist, Executive Vice President of the Würth Group and the NFDA's immediate past president. Hi, Marc. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good. So what do you think about the September FDI results of 61.5?
I think that it matches up well with what we see out there in the marketplace. I mean, there's still some traditional things that have gone on this year that have not gotten going in terms of some of the traditional markets, oil and gas being one of them, that is still suffering deeply. And I think the oil rig count went down again in the last couple of weeks. So we're seeing some issues with that. We are seeing upticks in some of the other areas in the agriculture equipment and engines and lawn and garden and places like that. So I think really the fact that it went down a little bit is still reflective. There's a ton of optimism out there, but I think that and I feel like this is a broken record because we talked about this the last time. Mm-hmm. But, the federal government has got to get organized and take action. I think people are optimistic about what they're talking about, but with nothing happening, whether it's infrastructure, that's a market that we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in right now as people are kind of stepping back a little bit and not knowing which way things are going. But, in terms of heavy fabrication, whether that's bridges or power plants, big, huge projects like that, is not as robust as we'd like to see it, but it could be. And so the infrastructure is an issue, and then, certainly the tax reform policies is an issue that we just can't seem to get along from a government perspective by either party in order to get things done. And so I think a slight downtick is reflective of that hesitancy of what's going on out there.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head with the optimism is definitely there, and that's also reflected in the forward-looking indicator for September. It accelerated up to 66.9 compared to 59.9 in August. And then the 6-month outlook, it's the first time this has ever happened, but it was a sweep of 100% of respondents are expecting better or the same results by the time we hit the spring of 2018. So the optimism is definitely there, but you're also right that nothing's getting done in terms of the government, except for maybe some regulations being pulled back and things like that. But reducing taxes, reducing spending, that's definitely not happening. But hopefully it will down the road. Now, also, if we look in detail, dig into the details a little bit, it says the results for sales, deliveries, and inventory numbers were all up. I'll say that again. Sales, deliveries, and pricing numbers were all up, but employment and inventories dropped. What do you think that means, if anything?
Well, my take on the employment situation today, and this came up last week in depth. We had some group meetings and had many of the companies were all together. And I heard a common theme, which is actually in a lot of areas, it is becoming harder and harder and harder to find employees. And, people that can pass a drug test and people that want to work. And the employment levels are to the point where in some areas of the country, it's become hard to find people that you'd like to hire more. And you can't. I mean, right now, I think we probably have quite a few open requisitions throughout North America for a variety of things, whether it's as a commodity purchasing manager types or warehouse type or salespeople. We're still hiring, but we find some difficulty with that. So that's kind of my perspective on employment right now. And it's becoming harder and harder to find good qualified people.
I keep hearing that everywhere I go. I went on a plant tour of a ware company a couple of weeks ago, and they said the same thing. They want to, they want to hire people, but the math and science skills coming, for regular warehouse people or factory people, it's below average, and they can't get what they want. And that's then we could get in a whole nother discussion there about the education system, but that's a good point. It's probably having an impact there. What about, are you hearing anything, we just got through all these hurricanes and everything, and there was a couple respondents mentioned that in the survey, but are you seeing that there's any impact on the hurricanes, on these numbers, or anything going forward, or even into early 2018?
Oh, I think, I can't attribute the numbers directly to the hurricanes, but I can tell you for sure that there's an impact. An example, one of our companies has a facility in Puerto Rico that's wiped out, and so that we probably have $5 million a year in sales in Puerto Rico that, we'll probably lose 3 months worth of that, maybe more, depending on, because it's not just our facility getting up and going again, right? It's a customer. If the customer doesn't get up and going,
right,
the customers, then that impacts you just as much as trying to get your own facility moving. So I think there's definitely an impact. We had employees, over 100 employees in Houston that were impacted by the hurricane. Mm-hmm. The first one that came through and a little bit in the Tampa area and Orlando. So, yeah, has there been an impact? Absolutely. I think it's too early to tell, what it's going to do to numbers, because as you rebuild and a lot of the bridges that were destroyed and a lot of infrastructure stuff will all be good for us, in terms of,
right. There's some up and down.
A lot of steel.
Right. Some positive influences and negative. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Now, the comments this time were pretty positive again, like they were last month. Here are some samples. Demand is outpacing supply. Which ties into the employment thing a little bit, and inventories. Another comment was, thank you, Mr. Trump. Mining in the U.S. and globally is increasing. Housing is also growing nicely. And it's going to be a good 2018. And then one respondent said that their September numbers were up 12% compared to September of 2016. So I think a lot of positive things going on there, a little bit tempered. And anecdotally, I was at the Las Vegas show last week, and while I thought it was a pretty good show, it didn't seem as robust as I thought it might be with all these numbers being up in the 60s that we've had this year and for the FDI numbers. So I don't know if that means anything or not, or people are too busy to go to shows.
Yeah, I don't know. We probably had 10 or 15 people that didn't go because, we had our meetings in Germany for Würth. We had our annual business planning sessions, and so that impacted our attendance. So between that and the venue and some other stuff, and some competition, right? There's another fastener show or exhibition starting up in Cleveland. So that might be competition as well. So it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. There was some talk, the fastener industry is famously fragmented, and there's talk of increased consolidation, but we've also got maybe some fragmentation going on in shows. I'm not sure if the industry will ever change its fragmentation ways.
No, I don't think. I think it's been this way forever. But there are no question there's been consolidation since, when I started back in 1986. There's certainly way fewer distributors and way fewer manufacturers than there was back then.
Well, all things considering, 61.5 is still pretty solid, and things are looking good down the road. So I think we're pretty healthy, and it'll just be nice to see things break out a little bit more, I think.
Agreed.
Now, I was looking at the NFDA website, and it looks like you have some events coming up. You have the NFDA Leadership Academy scheduled next, and then the 50th anniversary in Costa Rica.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. The leadership one I'm real excited about. It's a program that when I was president, we started the process of planning for this and trying to provide a platform for young up-and-comers in the industry to have some networking, some development, some mentoring. It's been a big focus of ours, and so that's going to be going on. I'm not going to be able to attend that event particularly. But the 50th is real exciting, and it's a tremendous milestone to achieve for an organization. And we'll be inviting all the past presidents that are able to come on down and visit. And we actually skipped our fall meeting that we normally have, because to try and get more people to show up to the 50th, and from an expense perspective and all that, for people to go down and visit and have a tremendous event. So we're real excited about that.
Yeah, and that's in March, so I think the weather in that area in March should be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's going to be. We did a big cost study. It actually was cheaper to go to Costa Rica and really have a tremendous celebration for the organization than to go to South Florida and to go to Key Biscayne or Marco Island or something like that. It was cheaper overall from the studies we did to have the event down there. So that's something we wanted to do. We figured it's unusual and be something that will attract people that are going to be tired of the winter doldrums and want to go enjoy some nice weather.
Yeah, it sounds good, and it's definitely not hurricane season, I don't think. But
no.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report and sharing your insights on the industry as well as talking a little bit about the NFDA.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. That was Marc Strandquist. He's the Executive Vice President of the Würth Group and the immediate past President of the NFDA. The FDI number for September was 61.5. If you want to participate in the process, visit fdisurvey.com, and all participants get a nice multi-page report with charts and graphs on the FDI. Now for today's top story. Dyson Corporation in Painesville, Ohio, is a domestic supplier of large-diameter fasteners, forgings, and machine parts, and it recently announced 2 new contracts. One to supply and manufacture large square shanked forgings for the multi-billion-dollar Norfolk Southern Railroad project, and the other to make and supply critical fasteners for the George Washington Bridge refurbishment project over the next 7 years. Dyson Corporation has also announced that Ray DeFelice has joined the company's management team as the Environmental Health and Safety Manager. Dyson Corporation, along with several hundred other fastener suppliers, was very visible at the recent Las Vegas Fastener Expo. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. In acquisition and expansion news, Lawson Products has acquired the Bolt Supply House in Canada. Win Supply has opened 4 new wholesale distribution locations in Maryland, Maine, Massachusetts, and Tennessee. Tibbetts Group of the UK has acquired the trading business of Electra Engineering Services and Security Fasteners and Fixings. MW Industries was acquired by affiliates of the private equity firm American Securities in partnership with MWI Management. The Lisi Group in France has entered into a binding agreement to acquire 51% of Termax LLC. Park Ohio has acquired the UK's Heads and All Threads Limited. Swiss Turn USA has purchased the fastener line from J.I. Morris Company, and Penn Engineering has expanded its operations in Ireland with a new 80,000 square foot fastener manufacturing and research facility. In personnel news, 3M has announced that Paul Keel has been appointed to the position of Senior Vice President, Business Development and Market Sales, and John Lindekugel has been appointed to the position of Senior Vice President, Supply Chain. And Arconic announced that Eric Rogner is the new Executive Vice President and Group President for Engineered Products and Solutions, and Tim Myers is now their Executive Vice President and Group President for their Arconic's Global Rolled Products and Transportation Construction Solution units. In addition, the Arconic Board of Directors has appointed Charles Chip Blankenship as the Chief Executive Officer and a member of the Arconic Board of Directors effective January 15, 2018. In trade show news, Fastener Fair Mexico is moving to Guadalajara in June of 2018 after staging 3 Fastener Fairs in Mexico City. And the one and only Las Vegas Fastener Show to appear in the famous Las Vegas Convention Center was completed earlier this month, and it featured a large and attractive exhibit hall with hundreds of suppliers and loads of good complimentary content, including trade association meetings, fastener education sessions, IFP panel discussion, industry awards, company parties, a massive opening reception, and the gigantic sports book at the Westgate Hotel. When available, full details of the 2017 International Fastener Expo will be presented in an upcoming Fastener News Report. You can get details on all of these stories and more in Fastener Technology International Magazine and the Fastener News Report newsletter, which is available in print, PDF, and flipbook editions by visiting fastenertech.com. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about plastic fasteners. According to Grand View Research, the global automotive plastic fasteners market size was estimated at $2.18 billion in 2016, and it is expected to surge above $3.6 billion by the year 2021. This works out to a robust average annual growth rate in excess of 11%. Grandview says that this growth is attributed to plastic fasteners being lightweight and low cost, as well as due to the implementation of recent innovations to improve plastic fastener strength and mechanical resistance. Automotive applications include interior, exterior, electronics, powertrain, chassis, and wire harnessing. I also suspect that the driverless cars of the near future will make their mark on this segment. I like the technology involved in making plastic fasteners, which might be a carryover from our sister magazine's coverage of polymer technologies, heavy roll and wire and cable manufacturing. It's probably no surprise that my favorite plastic fastener maker is Volt Industrial Plastics, the longtime sponsor of the Fastener News Report. Volt is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and the company is prominently featured in the October-November 2017 issue of Fastener Technology International. Get a print or digital copy and check out their anniversary image on the cover and on page 101, and read their story on pages 124 and 125, as well as at voltplastics.com/wearevolt. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Please send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Next, it's our annual Vegas Show Review with Jake Davis and Texan Baron Yarborough. You're not going to want to miss this one. It's fully threaded.
Harry, now that you use InSequel software, how do you like it?
InSequel has delivered. They truly are written for fastener distributors. It's affordable and their support staff is great.
We found InSequel's support staff has depth. They know our industry, and they certainly know their software. I see they've helped you pronounce InSequel.
Yes, but what does InSequel mean? Is it written in SQL? Is the data stored in SQL? Are they located in SQL?
InSequel uses the industry standard Microsoft SQL database, which is why it's so powerful and easy to use.
Oh, the database is stored in SQL. I don't even know where that is. I hear it's a nice place.
Harry, InSequel uses a SQL database because it's current technology and your data is completely accessible. No more expensive custom reports.
Is that why InSequel is so easy to use? Where is SQL on the map?
One of their many support members will help you answer that. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call toll-free 877-446-9775.
Fastener Distributors. 3Q Inc. is the best-kept secret for all of your fastener needs. 3Q is the premier sourcing solution for the fastener distribution market. 3Q offers stock and release programs on all special fastener products, from flat washers, lock nuts, cold form specials, to bolts and screws. Looking to add the highest quality line of self-drilling screws? Check out the pull-tight line of serrated self-drilling screws. They bite. Distributors who know of 3Q wonder how they ever operated before without the high level of service and quality support provided by 3Q and their staff. The number 3, the letter Q, 3Q Inc. Quality products, quality service, quality customers. Welcome to 3Q.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute, coming to you from the Fastener Training Institute and the Carver Fact Center here in beautiful downtown El Cajon, California. Today's topic is ROCAP testing. Now, you probably have heard the word ROCAP and you don't know what it means, or maybe you do. If you're in the structural bolt business, you absolutely positively should know what it means, and you absolutely positively should know all about it. But the other side of the coin is, even if you're not in the structural bolt business, ROCAP testing is a very interesting principle that informs us about how nuts and bolts work in general. So it's a good thing to know about it. When we come back, I'll tell you what the ROCAP test is and why it matters to you.
Thanks, Carmen. This is Joe Morris with the Fastener Training Institute. Well, we've just returned from the Vegas show, where it was great to meet many of you, as well as connect with some really good friends. One recurring question I received there from many of you was, how do we accommodate training for multiple people located in different branches throughout the country? First, don't let the size of a class or the amount of people you need to train intimidate you. Regardless of how many people within your organization, the Fastener Training Institute can meet your needs. We will customize subject matter, travel to multiple locations, and allow you to video the class so you can rebroadcast it as it fits your needs. We also have a full library of previously recorded webinars that are ready for rent. Simply choose the webinar that fits your training requirements and watch it on demand. If you're interested in joining one of our live classes, December is our final Fastener Training Week of 2017. This class is December 4th through the 8th at the IFE training facility in Independence, Ohio. The week will consist of 4 days of classroom instruction and 1 day of plant tours. To register, please visit our website at fastenertraining.com. Our live webinar series continues this month with Carmen Vertullo presenting Vibration-Resistant Fastening on November 10th. In this interactive webinar, you will learn about fasteners and their features to resist vibration and stay tight within their joint. Also in November, we will present Product Training Part 3 at our Santa Fe Springs, California training facility. Join us for this class to learn what's the difference between inch and metric fasteners, and why is a lot number a form of traceability. So again, please visit our website at www.fastenertraining.com for a complete listing of all of our classes. And if you don't see what you're looking for, call me, email me. My email address is jom@fastenertraining.com. Now back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Fastener Training Minute. And today we are going to talk about the ROCAP test. ROCAP is short for rotational capacity, sometimes called the RC test as well. It's a peculiar test in that it only applies to one type of fastener, and that is the structural bolt that is used for bolting steel together. Generally, this is a requirement for ASTM A325 hot dip galvanized fastener assemblies. When we say assembly, that's an important word because what it means is we have a nut, a bolt, and a washer as an assembly. And the object of the game with the rotational capacity test is to ensure that when we put these components up in the steel, we know that they're going to function. So before we do that, we do this test on the ground or in the lab to make sure that the nut actually is able to, working in conjunction with the bolt and the washer, achieve the tension that's desired in a safe margin. Now, one of the reasons why this applies in particular to hot dip galvanized fasteners is because with hot dip galvanized structural bolting are very high friction in the joint because of the hot dip galvanizing on the threads of the bolt. Now, the nut is over-tapped. It doesn't have any hot dip galvanized zinc in the threads, but it's dry generally, maybe with a little bit of lube left over from the tapping process, but that's not enough. So what we do is we put wax on those nuts, and sometimes the wax is visible. It will be a blue color or a red color or a green color depending on the manufacturer's process. It's not required to have that color unless specifically asked for. There's a general feeling that it should be colored, but it's not required. So the object of the game with the rotational capacity test is to ensure that that lubrication, which is on the nut, in the threads of the nut and on the bearing surface of the nut, provides us a relief of the friction, that is a lubrication that will enable with a certain number of turns and a certain amount of torque to give us the tension that's available, as well as to ensure that the bolt has good ductility. So the rotational capacity test works like this. Well, actually there are two different types, and let me start with the old type or the simpler type. It used to be under ASTM A325, we simply installed the bolt in some steel similarly to how we would do it in the structure. We snugged the nut down, and then we marked the nut. We put a mark on it, and we marked the socket that goes on the nut, and then we also marked the steel. And then we would rotate that nut a certain number of degrees, well beyond what its normal tension would be. Then we would disassemble it and make sure that there was no damage to the threads in the nut. The bolt is actually allowed to stretch. It's allowed to yield, but we are not allowed to damage the threads. We do that with 3 assemblies. We have a good test. Now, as time rolled on, certain entities, particularly our transportation departments, DOT and other state transportation departments, and people like state architecture departments, developed a more sophisticated rotational capacity test in which not only did we measure the amount of turns on the nut and determine that we didn't fail with a certain number of degrees of rotation, which, by the way, the longer the bolt, the more the degrees. It's generally somewhere between a third of a turn and a turn and a third. Turn and a third, that's more than one full turn. That's a lot of turns, even for a long bolt. And so now with the newer test under ASTM F3125, we need to not only measure the number of turns, but we're also going to put this in a device called a Skidmore-Wilhelm bolt tension calibrator. We're going to measure the load, and we're also going to measure the torque. And there's some interesting formulas that go into this. Essentially, we want to make sure that with a given amount of tension applied, we achieve that before we exceed a certain amount of torque. And then likewise, as we go to further turn the nut to the maximum number of turns, we want to make sure we get there before we exceed a given amount of torque, also achieving a certain amount of tension. So it's a relatively complicated test. Used to apply only to ASTM A325 grade hot dip galvanized assemblies. Now it can apply to anything as the end user asks for it. So there are 2 instances when we need a rotational capacity test. One is if we have an ASTM F3125 grade A325 hot dip galvanized structural bolt assembly. Doesn't matter if it's asked for or not, it must be done. The other instances, no matter what kind of structural bolt we have, A325, A490, tension control bolt, doesn't really matter what it is, whether it has a coating or not. If the end user requests it, then we would have to do the rotational capacity test. These tests sometimes pass, sometimes they don't. There's no guarantee. Just because all of the components of the assembly, the nut, the bolt, the washer, and the coating all meet their specific requirements, no guarantee that when we marry all those four things together that we're going to get a part that will pass or an assembly that will pass the ROCAP test. So just beware, there's some risk involved. As a structural bolt supplier, you should know all about the ROCAP test. As someone who's not supplying structural bolting, it's kind of a cool thing to know about because it informs us regarding fasteners. And once again, if you need some training on this, contact the Fastener Training Institute. Fastener Training Institute provides training in structural bolting, and you'll learn all about the ROCAP test there, maybe even get to do one in person. This has been Carmen Vertullo for the Fastener Training Minute. Thanks for listening.
This is Kevin Chavis with Star Stainless Screw, and you are listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you, Fully Threaded Radio. Well, Bri, we're back from Vegas another year, huh?
Yes, sort of. I won't say anything for the moment. Happy to be back, okay?
Yeah, I don't know where you were going to go with that, but...
No, I decided discretion is the better part, okay?
Yeah, well, you probably relearned that lesson while we were out there. Lord knows we did a lot of talking while we were out in Vegas, and it was yet another opportunity at the Fastener Show this year to relearn the lesson also of wearing sensible footwear.
Yeah.
I still have a persistent blister on my right foot. It's like a week later.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky because we put padding in our booth, okay? That's due to the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey.
Yeah, it was ultra deluxe.
God. Yeah, the people in the booth next to us didn't, and they were bitching and moaning all the time.
We won't call them out because they're very solid FCH members.
I know, you're right.
Well, it's time for us to partake of the annual ritual, which is the Vegas Show review. And here to do that this time, two of our buddies who are walking the floor there. I guess we'll find out if they have blisters on their feet as well. Baron Yarborough from Spring Bolt. Now, he's been on the podcast fairly recently, as well as Jake Davis with BTM Manufacturing. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us again. It was great to see you out there.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Great to see you guys.
Good. Sounds really enthusiastic. You still haven't recovered from the show, I could tell. I mean, it's like we just told you that you've got another 5 years to live, okay?
We might still be a little bloodshot.
Okay. Oh, yeah, cool. It's good to be here.
It might have been overserved.
Okay.
There was a little bit of that going around this year. Emerald Expositions did a really fine job of supplying everyone, and I think overall the attitude on the show floor was fairly light, and I think that might have something to do with the fact that people were experiencing good business. Overall, you guys can disagree with me, but I think the thing that I've been hearing, volume a little down, quality excellent. It was a good show.
I completely agree with exactly how you said it. So we had a whole lot of great connections come by, and one thing that I thought that made it feel like it was less traffic is I felt the actual aisles were a whole lot bigger and broader, so you didn't get as many traffic jams while trying to walk down them.
No, that's true. Actually, I came to that view too. Now, I do believe, who knows, we'll know when the numbers come in. I don't think there are as many people. However, you're right, the aisles were like 3 or 4 feet wider than we're used to, and so everything was more spread out. It looked less crowded.
Just my thoughts on the show overall. I think, Wednesday for us, from 9 a.m. till maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock, I thought the show was on fire. Certainly people went to lunch. People started having hospitality and things like that later in the afternoon, so you lost some traffic to that, and that's understandable. But I felt like we had ample opportunity to speak to each and every person that stopped at our booth. One of my issues, and it was just really kind of bad luck for us, but we were across the aisle from like the electric stimulant people, like putting like shot, like muscle people.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah.
So, and they're pretty aggressive, a lot more aggressive than bent wire salespeople. So, I think sometimes people sped up to get by our booth in order to not, have to deal with that, which is, it's just kind of bad luck. But like I said, overall, both days we came away with some great leads, able to catch up with some current customers and make relationships with some new ones. So, for us, it was a positive show. I'd like for them to do something on day 2 to improve it, but I don't know what that is, and we can talk about that later as we go here. But overall, the Tuesday events I thought were great, positive. Barron did a fantastic job putting that YFP event together with Mr. Deary and Adam Pratt and Mr. Wheeler. Just all three of them, just sharp guys, and had great things to say. So enjoyed my time.
Yeah, well, thanks for pointing that out. I'll tell you, Jake, that really is something that's worth noting. Barron is, I don't know what your role is. What are you? You're not the chairman. You're a board member of the YFP, and you put together this breakout panel on Tuesday, the 17th. It was really cool. So Bill Derry, who's the 2017 Fastener Industry Hall of Fame inductee, as well as the 2016 inductee Bruce Wheeler, and then Adam Pratt, who's the YFP Person of the Year. What a blockbuster lineup. Great job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm it was kind of thrown on us relatively quickly. There was some miscommunications early on in it, but once we actually knew that we were doing it, it was all hands on deck, and I think it turned out quite well.
I never had a chance to go to it. I was manning the booth. Okay, I could look up and see what was going on. Yeah, I could look straight up the aisle. I could see who was talking.
No, he's talking about Tuesday, Bry. I was going to say thanks a lot for coming.
Oh, sorry. Right. Wrong day. Okay.
That's the way it is with us in Vegas. Stumbling around basically for 3 days, most of the time, unless you're in the booth, you're lost. And your feet hurt.
And it all runs together, Brian.
Right, I know. Actually, I'll tell you what. I came to remember, and Wayne Wishnu. Now, Wayne Wishnu never says that much to me. He's terrified that I'm holding a microphone, okay? But I remember at the Fastener Techie, I talked to him briefly, and he, after checking me out to make sure I had nothing in my hands, he said that the Westgate Hotel, his analysis was every single room smelt like it had been smoked in for 50 years. And I remembered that comment. And, we've dealt with this issue on the show probably already. But when I walked into the first room, I said, oh, God, Wayne Wishnu was right. Why did he say that?
This was my first time actually staying in a casino hotel. Because last year I stayed at Polo Towers, which is not a casino. So you get reasonably priced, nice room. It's not like being in Vegas. So Westgate was kind of eye-opening. I was like, I paid what? For what?
Yeah, right. You asked that.
And I've got T-shirts on order that say I survived the Westgate.
Yeah, you'll sell plenty of those, actually.
I didn't think that the smoke smell was the worst part of it. I could have lived with that. It was just, obviously people who had stayed in there before us, they were dipping a lot of cope. So, the carpets weren't looking that great. But fortunately, it's a one and done, right?
Yeah.
Not even a chuckle. Not even a chuckle. Barron's like, oh, was that the room I stayed in last time?
No, I have to say though, even though my room was, had some of its issues to it, I have to say the top floor of the Westgate was a nice place.
Oh, because I never got to see that.
Was that Elvis's pad?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. I don't know how many. Did you get any of the info on that, Eric? How many bedrooms were on that top story?
I didn't get the number of bedrooms actually, but it is alleged to have 18 bathrooms, and we walked around that extensively. Screws was having a hospitality suite there after the first night, and they had an Elvis impersonator there. It was really a excellent spread. And walking around that place, I tell you, it was fun. I mean, out of all the things at the Westgate, I have to agree with you. That was probably the only redeeming quality of the whole place.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, got to see the biggest suite I've ever seen. It was huge.
So you're thinking of taking up singing now, eh? Oh, you do you do that already?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm semi-pro at the singing already.
I know. I'm sorry, I forgot that for a moment, okay? I've seen
Keep
that.
after it, Baron. Keep after it, Baron.
Well, guys, let's rewind it. So the show was a lot of fun, but really it launched off, and we talked a little bit, Baron, about your YFP event. Wi-Fi had a very nice event, as I was told. But I guess the official kickoff of the show was that pool event. That was Tuesday, October 17th. Happened by the pool. I'd have to say maybe I gave the Westgate a little too much of a bad rap because that pool event was really great, don't you think?
I would agree with you, Eric, on that one. I enjoyed that immensely. It was great to be outside. Just made a couple rounds poolside there, and having a nice cold beverage and seeing friends and people that you haven't seen for a year, and just taking 5-10 minutes to catch up. Certainly relaxed atmosphere. I think they had cigar rolling over there in a corner of the area, ample bars and that, no lines that I could see of. But how about those hats? I mean, those were, I brought those babies back.
I decided they didn't suit me particularly. I didn't take my chances.
My new
Come on,
favorite.
Brian.
I've worn it every day since
I understand that. I can see. Okay, it just doesn't. It's not it suits me.
It fits the bearded one well. I know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was organised better than any of the intro evenings that we've had at the show, in my experience. Okay, I thought it was better organised, good place. Plenty of space. You weren't tripping over people or lining up, 10 deep to try and get something to eat or a beer. And it was just a good, nice sort of spread out and a good atmosphere that pervaded the whole show, that whole place, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main thing when planning those type of events, it's about, where you're going to have the food, where you're going to have the drink, and what size you're going with. If you can hit those out of the ballpark, I mean, you really don't need to worry about anything else. The networking and the talking is just going to handle itself, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. No, it was good.
Ample people told me just the space was what they liked. They compared it to years previous about kind of feeling cramped in other rooms, ballrooms and that. And you just were able to move freely throughout the event, and I think that just adds to people's, willingness to do so. In being outside, to me, on a nice evening like we had was just fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect. I mean, you couldn't have asked for better, weather-wise.
Yeah, I mean, remember we used to have it inside in Harris, wasn't it? I think was it used to be, and it was always like a bit of a nightmare, actually, because after 1 hour, the noise of background noise of people talking was so loud, you basically got nearly deaf. You couldn't hear anything anyone was saying.
So, Brian, you were talking about standing in line for a beer. I don't know if you realized it or not, but they had ample Macallan 12, Glenlivet 12 as well. So I think you were in the wrong line, man.
I did find that line, and that line. No, I'm saying there were not hardly any lines. I was saying comparing it to previous years where you did have to stand in line to get a drink, but this year was organised very well. There were lots of places, and I did find a line for the Macallans, and it was only 1 deep actually, and that one was me. So it was very good. And I introduced some guy standing to me who didn't know really what Scotch whisky was. I made him taste the Macallans 12, and he thought that was actually tasted pretty good.
Yeah, for some odd reason, they wouldn't let me take the whole bottle, but other than that, I had a good
time. Right, yeah.
Aaron just kept getting back in line.
Just kept doing U-turns.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, someone who knows her Scotch whiskey is Rosa Hearn. over there with BBI, and she had a big smile on her face. She was supposed to head out, and I captured her and brought her right back to that line. I don't know if she had participated yet, but we enjoyed a wee dram together, and yeah, that was good stuff. So the next day, in various stages of preparedness, we made it to the show floor. That was Wednesday. And, of course, the rumbling started. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Did the show start at 9 in the past, or was it 10? It started at 9 this time.
In the past, it did too.
Seemed way too early.
You probably don't usually get there at that time. I'm the one that gets to the booth at 9. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's always started at 9, but you're on Eastern time, so.
Thank you, Jake.
That. Okay, I didn't let him use that excuse. Okay.
So you pointed out earlier, Jake, that there was a little floor weirdness because everything's reconfigured this year. And, of course, we're going to have to go through that again next year when we head back to Mandalay Bay, as we all know that's happening. And despite that, there was quite a bit of traffic flowing through that first couple of hours. It's always a real exciting time, isn't it?
It is. And, I felt, lucky on the other side of being in pretty much on the aisle right near the entrance. So I think we got a lot of the early morning traffic. So like I said, it was on fire for us for a good 3.5 hours. And I'm hopeful that I was able to talk with everybody, and at least my team was. So it was great. A lot of great contacts made. I always, I'm a relationship seller buyer, and I always appreciate the time to be able to catch up, albeit 5-10 minutes with somebody that you've been talking to on the phone for the majority of your relationship, and then you're able to place the face with the name. It just adds so much to the selling experience to me. So that's why doing the shows is vital for us.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one, especially in my part of the industry where I make very little parts to very big parts to things that a whole lot of people wouldn't even consider fasteners, just random machine components, hot-headed parts, all this. Customers, even the customers that already are doing business with me, they might not know everything I do, but coming over to the table and actually seeing and being able to pick up some of the parts, some are a little too heavy, but being able to pick up some of the parts always kind of jogs their ideas about what else we could be doing for them.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think that's true. The people, they set their various suppliers in sort of narrow margins, and they don't really realise that, they don't perhaps look through their whole sales catalogue to realise what really they do. Okay, so the show's a good chance to get people to see if you can jump out and get in front of their face when they walk past, what things you can really do.
I do have a question, Eric. How many curls did you get on Barron's?
How many curls did Eric get on that nut? I didn't even see him come by. I think he was scared.
No, yeah, I don't know what diameter that was, but I'm not going to
brag. I'm not going to brag, Jake. not on the offline.
Not on the podcast. All right, well, get me next time I see you. So.
6.5-inch nut, so it took me both hands.
Yeah, that bad boy was, that was a heavy thing. Hey guys, so let's steer this to back to business. What was the attitude out there? Well, I mean, what did you hear? What were you hearing? We earlier said that the attitude overall seemed real positive. Was there a particular theme that you encountered while you spoke to people?
I think, just to reiterate what you said, Eric, the industry, overall is doing well. I think there's some niche aspects of it, certainly that affect BTM on the ag side that is still a little bit soft, but we are seeing signs of growth there, although, modest. But, everybody seemed upbeat about where the economy was as a whole. A little bit of, not to talk a lot of politics, but some talk of tax cuts and, what that would bring to the table in 2018 for manufacturing and small business. So a lot of positives out there. A lot of long lead times I heard from some other manufacturers to not being able to catch up, just from the small screw side of things. They almost don't have enough time in the day to keep up. So that's a great problem to have.
Huh, that's really interesting. I've been hearing a lot, or we've been hearing a lot about the long lead times, but that's mainly Asian suppliers. That's got to be really good news for you, Baron.
Yeah, so especially when you have, because one of the things that we focus on the delivery. So when other manufacturers start extending their lead times, we can actually maintain it longer, maintain that quick. Our standard's 4 week, and a whole lot of times we do same-day manufacturing for people. But since we can hold that same 4 week lead time longer than a whole lot of the other manufacturers, right when it starts getting busy, we definitely feel, and that's when people start asking us for more of the standard-ish stuff, not a whole lot of hard stuff, but just we get more of the overflow business, the gap work.
Okay. Yeah, I think the people I talk to, very positive about things that are going on, just upbeat. It's good to see that. I mean, we've had years where it's been really, after the show, all you want to do is go and slit your wrists because everyone's so depressed, okay? This is not one of those shows, this one.
No,
I don't. I agree.
But everyone seemed to be upbeat, and I think there was good times had on the floor and also off the floor at the later times of the show and at the circle bar.
At the end of the show, the first day, that is, was the 2017 Fastener Industry Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And, of course, that included the YFP Person of the Year. That was Adam Pratt from Surex. Any of you guys make it out to that? I had a blast at that.
Yeah, I got to stay through that entire event. I was right next to the actual sessions area where that was going on, so I could actually be at my booth, manning the booth, and also listening into that. And, of course, it ran a little long, so I was able to actually leave my booth and then just watch.
I wasn't able to make it over, but just with the booth and all, we were kind of on over in aisle 1500, and I think they were on the opposite side of us. But just from the pictures and everything that I saw on social media, it looked like a great event. And with hearing both Mr. Deary and Mr. Pratt, the day before, I'm sure everybody that participated heard similar, if not more in-depth stories about, who they are and what they did to get them where they're at right now and as successful as they are today.
I closed up the booth and went over and listened to Bill Deary. He gave a good speech.
So, Baron, you mentioned the circle bar. That was supposed to be where we were all going to meet, but kind of got a little messed up, didn't it? I mean, a lot of people, it sounds like, were over at Harrah's. I mean, people were scattered. Where did you wind up? So, hang on, before you answer that, I know it's somewhere where you were singing, and you probably don't want to go into all the details, but keep it clean for the audience.
For the younger ones, yeah.
We talked about a couple of my karaoke buddies from Fastener Tech a couple months ago talked about going, but we decided to stay a little bit closer to the Westgate. So we actually, for most of the time, I actually spent there at the Circle Bar, and it was a good turnout. I mean, there were some people asking me about the circus, the outside area next to the Harris, which I made it there the second night. But the first night I actually spent at the Circle Bar, and there was a good amount of people from, good distributors, good reps, good manufacturers, a good turnout just there. And I think if we had a whole lot of people, that thing really couldn't hold a plethora of people, especially because it wasn't just us.
Yeah, you're right.
I hit the Circle Bar, I think on Tuesday night after I had dinner, and then Wednesday night had dinner over at the Mirage with the supplier, and then we did make our way over to because Rich Cavoto had placed a bet with me. I need to get Wishnu to over there to Carnival, so I begged Wishnu to go over for 5 minutes, and so I won a beverage out of it. So. But it was a pretty good group there that showed up. A little loud, but that's all right, But it was a good time.
Well, when Rich and Wishnu are involved getting loud, I think that's the least of your problems.
Right.
It was a lot of fun, and it was scattered, but I think from everything that I heard, there was a lot of fun being had everywhere that Fastener people were congregating. So that's the nice thing. The next day, Thursday, as usual, started out a little slow. However, we had a lot of really, really excellent people walking the aisles, and really the traffic, it was great for the whole day. I mean, it was slower, high quality.
Yeah, I think you could say that about the whole show, actually. I mean, you know, my view was we didn't have as many people at the booth as we had in previous years. However, we had a lot less tire kickers and more people actually interested in talking about, you know, FCH. So I thought there were a lot more high quality leads that we saw, actually.
Yeah, that's nice. Jake, were a lot of people talking about FCH in your booth?
Absolutely. I kind of had to steer him back to BTM almost every time.
That was good of you.
So, you know, we can work out the commission next time I'm up in your guys' area. So,
yeah.
I thought day two for us was, you know, again in the morning. I think for the people that I talked to, Wednesday, you know, was kind of get the lay of the land, see everybody, make small talk, and then I think Thursday for the people that I talked to is kind of a purpose day. I mean, they've got prints or samples, or, you know, they know exactly where they need to go as opposed to walking the entire show. So for us, I wish it was busier. The morning was busier for us than the afternoon. The afternoon was dead, but, you know, I also walked the show myself just to kind of get a lay of the land, look at other booths that I like from the ISCO side of things, to say hi to suppliers and people that we buy from in that frame. So it's a dual purpose, but when it slows down that next day, I like the ability to get out and walk the show as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're all kind of agreeing with the, you know, it might have been a little numbers down, but quality up. Because one thing about being a newer company, just starting to really market ourselves out there, every time we go to a show, we meet new people. But it's good that everyone was meeting quality people.
Yeah, Baron, and you, we're similar, you know, although BTM's been in business for 50 plus years, you know, we've just started to get out, you know, in the last 3 to 4 years at shows and in regional associations. So I'm positive and optimistic every time I go to a show, because I probably do meet people that I haven't met before, or people that we don't currently do business with. So, you know, it's then taking that and working with that and following up to make that into a potential customer is where we go from here. But yeah, for us, it's exciting every time. I don't know for, you know, the stalwarts of the show that have been there 15, 20 years, you know, I think there's some frustration within those, and they'll have to have those discussions with Emerald to see how they can improve upon each year. But I'm excited to be to Mandalay Bay. We've never exhibited with it being at Mandalay Bay. So, you know, there's the excitement aspect of it for us, is to get back there. And you heard a lot of positive when people talked about moving back on the Strip, and especially Mandalay Bay, because there's so much to do there.
We're speaking with Jake Davis. He's with BTM Manufacturing, and Baron Yarborough with Spring Nut and Bolt down there in Houston, Texas. Brian, I tell you, I walked down some of the, I guess for lack of a better way to say it, I walked down some of the Asian aisles. It seems like the show's a little segregated. One of the big differences that I notice with a lot of those companies, some of them are manufacturers, some of them are trading companies, as they call themselves. One big difference is each one of them has a calculator out on the table. A lot less traffic, but I'll tell you, those guys were doing business. Isn't that kind of weird? I mean, that's just kind of the flavor of the show.
Yeah, you wouldn't see a calculator anywhere near me at the show, okay?
I don't know how to use one. You know, that's my excuse.
I've been to multiple shows where it ended up having my business card with, on my notes section, writing out a quote for someone multiple times at shows.
Okay, well, that's good.
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, others could say maybe you should next time you'll take a notepad with you, okay?
No, they got my name, phone number, and then their price and lead time. It's perfect.
Okay. Well, you couldn't use our one because we've got printing for fully threaded radio on the back of it, so you'd have to have a white pen or you'd give up and borrow from someone else.
Point being, those guys are doing business, and it's just kind of a different approach to the show. So I'm not saying it's good or bad, just an observation.
Okay.
Any boost that stuck out to you guys? Quality and, fun?
Rotor Clip always does a great job, It was years ago I said nothing says retaining rings like Sarah Mallow and a pith helmet. But this year, they had the whole baseball motif going. Of course, here in Cleveland, we're a little sad because the Tribe really went down in flames, and I don't even want to talk about the Cubs because that all happened at the show this year. But, so be it.
Well, Barron's got his Houston Astros in the mix, so.
Yeah, one of us is still in it. Might be a North Texas guy, so I'm first Rangers, but second Astros. Whatever Texas team I'm gonna root for. So we're still hitting it.
Does that even count, though? I mean, you change leagues. I mean, can you even trust that team?
You can trust them to win it.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, dear. Okay.
I do play indoors, though. I'm not a big fan of indoor baseball. So,
that was weird coming to Houston with the their Minute Maid. It just looks so different compared to what I'm used to, which is the one up in Arlington, the Rangers playing at. So it's a different experience over here.
Well, guys, we rode that whole storm out. Hopefully we didn't get too many blisters on our feet because, as we mentioned at the top, or I mentioned at the top of the conversation, the sensible footwear is definitely something that we're going to be passing down next. The Fastener News Desk gals, they should do an article on this.
They should, because I forget every single year.
Yeah.
So about footwear.
Yeah, that would be really useful.
I always say I'm going to buy better insoles for my boots right before, because it's all I wear. And then I get on the show floor about an hour in, I'm like, oh, nope.
Did it again.
You guys could have came over into aisle 1500 right across from us. They could have hooked you up with those, electric stimulant pads on your feet and probably solved your problems.
I'm good.
Oh, no.
They had a great show special going. So.
Yeah, that would imply that Eric turned up at our booth occasionally so I could actually get out of it to go for a walk.
He's a man of the people, Brian, man of the people.
Right.
Thank you, Jake. All these years of doing this roundup, and you're the first guy who's ever supported me. And with that, I think before we get too desperate with this whole thing, we're gonna wind it up. It's been a great show. It was IFE. We're all discombobulated, guys. I think we can all face that. We were in a different place. It had a different name. Next year we'll be at Mandalay Bay. It'll be over Halloween, apparently.
Yeah, Lynn's very unhappy about that. She likes Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have her help next year, but guys, it was so great for you to join in with us and recount some of the experiences that we had out there. Thank you so much, Baron and Jake.
Yep.
Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity.
Did any of you use the app that they show produced?
I had it on my phone. I can't say I used it all that much. I looked up a couple different booths to find out where they were at, but I didn't, it wasn't up and running every minute of the day. So
right. Suggestion
but I
is
did
that
find it useful.
It needs to have some work, okay?
Yeah.
I used it, but mainly just because I'm a speaker, so my pretty face was on one of the pages of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the main thing I used it for.
Because you like looking at yourself in the mirror too?
Yeah, I do.
Like every 5 minutes you just take your phone out and have a look to see what you look like.
I take a lot of selfies. It's mainly of the beard, though.
Yeah, that's a bit of a humble brag there, Baron.
Okay.
Did you run into Chris from R&D? And did you guys duke it out?
My beard's bigger, so I have the right of way. So.
Oh, okay.
No, I walked by their booth while they were setting up, and we just didn't have a chance to meet up because at Fastener Tech we hung out a whole lot, but this year we just didn't have time. I think we were both really busy and probably on different sides. When I was at one bar, he was probably at the other.
Okay.
Yeah, for good reason. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Bri, thanks for crashing the whole wind down. We've been we've been speaking with Jake Davis. He's with BTM Manufacturing. If you're curious, go back an episode or two. He was with us. And, of course, the one and only best beard in the business, Bear in Yarborough. He's with Spring Nut and Bolt down there in Houston, Texas. They might be competitors. They might overlap a little bit, but, hey, it's the fastener industry. We all get along, and we sure did this year at formerly NIFS. I still like saying that, you know, Bri?
I don't. I'm happy with IFE.
Well, I don't know.
So I embrace change.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us.
Brian and Eric, your online Fastener Talk Radio brothers in thread. Fully Threaded Radio.
First, there was fire. And man said,
"Fire, good."
Then there was the wheel. And man said,
"Wheel, good."
With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners. And man loudly exclaimed,
"Buckeye, good."
Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman.
Tell them Grog sent you. Ugh.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
You will meet over 2,000 fastener professionals from key manufacturing industries when you attend Fastener Fair USA, North America's only show for the entire fastener supply chain, taking place April 11th and 12th, 2018 in Cleveland, Ohio. Fastener Fair USA attracts manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, and end users from North America's fastest growing industries, such as automotive, aerospace, construction, equipment manufacturers, and many more. More than 200 companies from around the world will exhibit at Fastener Fair USA 2018, showcasing the latest in industrial and construction fasteners, assembly and installation systems, manufacturing technology, and much more. Take advantage of the opportunity to grow your business with our high-level education and training taught by industry experts, including the Fastener Training Institute, who will be participating in the inaugural show, offering product and technical training. Connect with customers and peers on the show floor and after hours at our welcome reception on April 11th at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There is truly something for everyone who's part of the fastener supply chain at Fastener Fair USA. To request information on exhibiting or visiting Fastener Fair USA, go to fastenerfair.com/USA or call show management at 866-899-4728. We'll see you at Fastener Fair USA 2018 in the heart of America's manufacturing region, April 11th and 12th at Huntington Convention Center, Cleveland, Ohio.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
Hi,
Hi, this is Jackie with Stelfast in Chicago. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, Brian, I don't know if any Westgate Hotel people are listening, but we might have been a little hard on the place overall. I mean, sure, the rooms weren't that great, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, right. There was a lot of talk, but I just want to remind people that, you know, Emerald Expositions inherited this whole setup and, I guess tried to make the best of it. And, you know, in the end, you live with what you've got, okay? Next year, for the people who bitched and moaned about having to walk too far, I think they haven't even lived till they've had to walk into the, exhibition centre at Mandalay Bay. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, listening to the newbies.
Right. You haven't even lived yet.
Well, I agree. I mean, Emerald made the best of what they were working with, but especially the opening reception, there was nothing to be ashamed of. And I also have to say this, if you made your way over to the sports book, that was quite an impressive room if you're into that type of thing and your team doesn't blow up. I don't know, you know, maybe I'm still stewing because the Cubs basically flamed out during the show, and that I was in a bad mood, you know, to see your team kind of, Well, in any event, hopefully during the show today, you got a pretty good feel for what was going on. We're going to wind up the show with one more segment that I think is kind of special, which I'll tell you about in a few moments, but I want to thank everybody who participated in our montages. Of course, the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey for getting out on the floor and capturing those voices, those thoughts, that energy.
Yeah, walking past the people and asking if they would record, many of whom are not that cooperative. They're frightened of what corporate, you know, management will say if they are heard saying anything, but there's enough people who are prepared to offer their opinions. That's good.
Plenty of good sports out there. And speaking of good sports, Jake Davis of BTM Manufacturing and Baron Yarborough of Spring Nut and Bolt played along nicely with us during this year's annual Vegas Show Roundup. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Also like to thank Bill Akerfeldt. He's branch manager out there for Lindstrom. Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International had today's Fastener News Report. He was joined by Würth Executive Vice President, Mr. Marc Strandquist. Thank you, gentlemen, for your analysis of the Fastener Distributor Index.
Yes.
And I think folks who are in that line of business are probably going to be going back and listening to Carmen Vertullo on today's Fastener Training Minute because also, as we pointed out at the top, it sort of turned into a seminar, but really packed with knowledge, Bri.
As always, okay. Briefly, I saw Carmen at the show, just enough to say hi as he was running off somewhere else.
Tell you, he spent a lot of time on the seminar stage during this year's show.
Yeah, he did.
And thanks to the sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio. The title sponsors are Stelfast for service you deserve and people you trust, and Lindstrom by any measure. Fully Threaded Radio is also sponsored by 3Q, Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, Fastener Technology International, InSequel Software, Mack Brooks Fastener Fair USA, ND Industries, The Würth Group, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man, who was also flying around the show.
Yeah, I know.
Not too many mentions of Old Rusty Bolt on today's episode, Brian. Matter of fact, I don't know if any made it out there, but if you see Traveling Salesman's blog, there's a picture of one of the complimentary beer glasses you would have received if you had tooled up to the Buckeye Fasteners booth and received a free draft.
Oh, well, I was behind my booth and no one brought me a free draft, unfortunately, but still, usually someone comes over and gives me one. I guess there's too much business going on.
We'll have to call Larry and see if there's anything left in the keg for you, Bri. I'm sure something can be arranged. If there's anything else we missed on today's episode, folks, please let us know what it is, or anything else you'd like to let us know.
Yeah.
The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com, and we're out there on Twitter, where the handle is fullythreaded.
And if you're trying to catch us online, it's fastenersclearinghouse.com, fasteners with an S, okay?
And the S is for Scroogle. Although I don't think we've done a good job of explaining Scrugel yet, Bri, but we have a few things in the works that will be doing that. So stay tuned, everyone, especially if this is your fastener life. I don't think I did a very good job of developing any themes in particular. Maybe that's because the IFE was so huge. I mean, you come back, your head's kind of sore. You got so much follow-up going on. And
trying to actually boil it all down and take stock of it at the time is the problem. There's so much happening.
Exactly. So I mentioned we had one last floor interview for you and everyone, and talking about taking stock, we sent Lynn across the aisle over to the Lindstrom booth, and she spoke with Mr. Bill Unferth for a few minutes and captured a few of his thoughts. I know a lot of you have talked to Bill over the years. If you're newer in the industry, maybe you haven't, but he's a legendary kind of guy. We thought, instead of boiling his interview down like we had to do with so many of the others that you heard in the montage, we'd play pretty much the full thing, which is just a couple of minutes, but we thought it might be a great way to wind down this episode, which we have entitled, This Is Your IFE.
Wow. Yeah, right. See, I didn't even get that for a start. Okay.
Did they have that in New Zealand? Remember that? I mean, probably most of the listeners are too. That doesn't matter. Let's play the clip.
All righty, I am over here on the second day of the IFE, and I'm talking with
Bill Unferth.
And Bill and I were both at the award ceremony, and I just wanted to get his impressions of it. First, let's talk about the first recipient, which was Adam Pratt for the Young Professional Award. What did you think?
Well, I thought the young man started in business, went to work in the industry at 21, owned his own company at 24 with 7 employees, and now at 38 he has 107 employees. Quite an amazing situation. He had some good mentors along the way, and that's very important in this industry. I started in this business myself in 1961, and I had some very good bosses. I've now been in this business 55 years. It's interesting. It's not a glamorous business, but it's a good business.
And what do you think? We didn't have those associations when we were Adam's age at that time. Do you think that would have benefited us?
Oh, probably. Yeah, there weren't. There weren't the locals and there weren't nationals. Like NFDA right now is 50 years old, so that came on well after I started. And when I started in business, there was no word such as import. That wasn't here. Mm-hmm. And now the industry has completely changed. When I started, I started with Cleveland Cap Screw Company out of Cleveland, Ohio, 1961, which was owned by SPS, Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. When I started, there's just no comparison to what it is today.
Yeah.
And but it's been a good business. It's been a good life.
Okay. And that's great. And then let's talk about our second recipient, who you know personally.
I know Bill Derry. I know Jim Derry. I knew Dick Fields, who owned the company before they bought the company from Dick. So I met Jim and Bill. I met Bill in 1982 at the first Fastener show in Columbus, Ohio, because at that time his booth was right across from where our booth was. At that time, I was not with Lindstrom. I was with Bossard, and I knew Dick Field, the owner of Field Fasteners, before they bought it. Dick and I worked together at Holochrome before that, so we go back a long way. He was a great guy. Bill's done an excellent job with that. Bill and Jim together, and they run a great company. They're very highly respected as a good place to work. So I think when they picked him to be the recipient for this year, I think they made a good choice. And I when I saw it on the first came out on the Global Fastener News, I sent him a congratulating email, and he came back with thank you. it's just they're good people.
Can you tell us anything naughty about Bill or anything from that?
Can't. No, I really can't. I really only knew Bill on the business side, so I wasn't around for any of those dirty stories. That has to come from.
Yeah. Not that there were dirty stories.
No. I don't mean dirty, but that probably came. The funny stories would probably come from his brother Jim, or some of his employees. I'm sure, because I'm sure they can tell funny stories on old Bill over the years, but. I don't really have anything I could add to that, I don't believe.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for talking with me.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.
And that's the way it was at the Vegas show this year, everyone. Thanks again to the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey for capturing that, and thanks, Bill, for participating in that. We're going to wind down episode 121 and call this one another one for the books. What do you think, Bri?
Yeah, I think it's about time, actually. We might have extended this a bit.
It's going to start feeling about as long as the show did.
Yeah, after this, yeah, right. At the end of the first day, you start thinking, God, all I want to do is sit down.
Well, we hope you don't feel that way, folks. And if you do, well, hopefully we'll have to pick that up again next time. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, and we'll talk to you next time.
Next time, okay? Keep well till then.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
And I wanted to. I ran into a bunch of older people like Johnny Kilgaro and people I did business with for a long time. So it was fun just to come to do that. You know, when you're doing it this long, you don't find new sources because you basically know them. You know?
Right, except if you need to do something and search on FCH.
Yeah, that works really sweet.
Yeah,
it does. You just click up on the left-hand corner of my screen and shunk, everything comes up. And if I'm having trouble finding it, there's usually someone out there who's got it. So it works good.
Yeah. And tell us again about InSequel.
Well, we've been an InSequel user for 6-7 years now, and the interface is really nice because the drag down that Brian came up with really works sweet. It's fast and efficient, and you can come up with a lot of sources at one time. So it works for us really well.
It's Brian and Darren instead. He did the programming.
Yeah, Darren did our programming too. We talked about that one time on the phone. Remember that? Yeah. At that time, though, it was kind of like, you know, but oh well.
We have a good set. We have a good connection with him. Yeah, it is.
Enjoyed the podcast. You know, it's very informational. You get some knowledgeable people.
And every now and again, it's a bit of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. And what were you talking about with sanity?
Well, we know Brian's the sanity of the outfit. You got to have one. It's kind of like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. You got to have a Dean Martin and a Jerry Lewis. Well, we know who Jerry Lewis is.
Yeah, it's not me.
Yeah, that's right. The sanity part of it.
And we're talking with?
Tim from Northern State Supply.
That's cool.
Thank you, Tim.
Long-time FCH member.
Yeah, actually, we were in the very beginning.
Yeah, you were.
Actually, I know we had some